We are back with another Adventures game here online. On the board from the Adventures expansion, we have Relic, Storyteller, and Page. So all the upgrades are there. Treasure Hunter, there's something after Treasure Hunter, then there's Hero, then there's Champion. And the events are Save and Ferry. Both quite good events actually. On the board here, my initial thought looking at it was Wharf, I want to play as many wharves as possible, and the way to do that reliably is to get a champion down. So this was my initial thought, this is what I wanted to do. Just have tons of draw and then we could see about things after that. You know, there's Relic also that may come into play if you can land it before everyone has their champion on the field. There's also Governor, but I thought Governor on a colony board is better a little bit later rather than sooner. If it were a province board, then the situation might be different. Instead, I prioritize Wolves as my $5 card I wanted to target here. The card draw would be extremely important, and as you know with the page line, there are a couple treasure gainers along the way, so you really need that card draw to see those treasures every turn if that's something you're interested in, of course, here. So here I have 2-5. I considered saving just to consider it. You know, it's a very easy thing to forget, so I just wanted to get into the habit. If there's save on board, just always think, do I want to save something before playing all my treasures? I buy a page, and this 5 is probably going to be a wharf, I think. I considered Storyteller and Relic also, but really Wharf is just a lot better, I think. Especially because there's save on the board. I say this because, so for example, if I play my Wharf and draw my page dead, I can easily save that page so that it doesn't necessarily miss a shuffle, and I still get to play it and exchange it, and we should be okay in terms of getting to that champion. So that is why I chose Wharf as my opening here rather than Storyteller, because I saw it as a risk-free play and you want the draw anyway, you want the buys at the end of the day, so why not? My opponent here has 3-4 and opens with a Ferry and places the token on Wharves, which is something that I want to do in the near future as well. Saves an estate here, which is good. It removes that estate from the next shuffle and also is able to buy a wharf here, so that's a good play. Here I have a very good turn 3. I managed to play my page first and then my wharf. So here also I have $4 and I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to buy a save to save this estate. Saving the estate prevents it from appearing in the next shuffle because I'll draw 4 cards and have to reshuffle. And here is my opportunity to place my Ferry token on Wharves. I exchanged this page into Treasure Hunter very early and things are looking quite good for me here, I find. So my opponent now gets a wharf down, 4 coins, $4. Goes for a couple pages here, which is fine. There's not much to say about that. Here I have 5. I didn't draw the Treasure Hunter dead, which is... Oh, I didn't draw the Treasure Hunter, which is... It is whatever. If I had drawn that Treasure Hunter, I'd have been cycling very quickly here. But $5 is okay. I'm thinking about what to do here. There are different combinations. I could save a copper, buy a wharf, for example. I can do page and wharf, which is what I end up doing here. Maybe saving was better, I'm not sure. But 2 wharves is good, you know, if you can get 1 in play every turn, that's good. My opponent on 5 here will buy the same thing actually, page and wharf. So we are 2 wharves each. Here I play my Treasure Hunter and I'll have to gain a couple silvers. but more importantly I get my wharf in play. Terrible draw by the wharf here, but like I said, with save on the board as an option, it's not too bad. I can just save this wharf and buy another wharf with the remaining $3 here because wharves cost 3 due to the ferry token. Piling up these wharves is not so bad, I think, because the eventual aim is to get the champion, and then you can play the wharves without restriction really at that point too. So you see me here with quite a bit of terminals, 3 wharves and a warrior, but I think it's okay. I'm trying to not waste money and turns on buying villages as much as I can help it here, is what I'm trying to say. Because once the champion is down, then the villages really don't do much. The only thing Workers Village would do for you here is give you a plus buy. So here is an excellent shuffle to trigger with my wharf, and I don't draw any action cards with it, so that's even better for me. So it gives me $8, 3 buys, a lot of options here. I have the opportunity to go double wharf and save some money. I can save a copper for instance. I can go village wharf save the estate, although saving the estate at this point doesn't really do much, but it's good practice. I think saving something is always better than not saving something if you can afford it, of course. So here I save the estate just to be pedantic, and here I buy a village here because I really feel that there's way too much terminals at this point and one village might be necessary, but no more than one. I don't really want to buy a second one, and the plus buy will be important because I foresee this game ending on piles. The wharves will definitely disappear. I can see storytellers disappearing very easily, and with the ferry token you can move that ferry token to say pages or workers villages and just quickly drain a pile, and you need buys to do that. So it's okay. My opponent saves here, manages to get 3 travelers in play, a page and 2 treasure hunters. They had to gain a lot of silver there, which I thought was kind of bad for them. It would delay getting to their champion in my eye, but we'll see how that turns out. I play my warrior here for the first time, managing to trash a silver, so that's really no big deal. My opponent just gained, what, 4 silvers? 6 silvers? I can't remember. That's not a big deal, I think. I save a wharf here, because I always want to have a wharf in play as much as possible. I buy another wharf. So I think that's my 5th wharf, I'm not sure. Here I resolve all of these actions, so my warrior has turned into a hero, which means it can't be trashed by warrior, which is good. My opponent plays their warrior now and trashes my workers village, which is very bad. What I would have done on this turn was play that wharf, save that workers village, and bought something else, maybe move the ferry token or something. However, what is going to happen now is that I don't have a workers village. 2, I have to trigger a shuffle here with a wharf out of it. Anyways, you play with what you have. I play this wharf here. I have, how much is this? $7 this turn. Again, I'm just trying to be careful, which is why I'm taking a bit of time with these turns, remembering to save and seeing if saving is the best thing to do. So here, with the wharves empty, I want to move my ferry token either to the governor pile or to the storyteller pile. Both of these would give me draw, which is what I think I need at this point. I have quite a bit of treasures in my deck, and with the amount of wharves that I have, I cannot get all of them in my hand at once. So this is what I'm thinking about here, whether to put it on governor or storyteller. Also whether to save. I would very much like to save this wharf here. So on $7, what I think ends up happening is that I save this wharf, I buy Ferry, place it on Storyteller, and then buy a Storyteller. The Storyteller with the treasure gaining should be very good. It should let me draw through very cleanly actually. So here you see me choose the Ferry on the Storyteller. I realize at this point, well, I have 4 coins, so I can save something. So I'm going to save my wharf and then buy a Storyteller. So the game plan at this point in the game was, okay, 1, you need to get that hero into a champion and get that champion on the board as soon as possible, because that's the only advantage I really have over my opponent at this point, that I'm a little bit ahead in advancing my page to champion. So if I could get 1 turn extra with champion in play, then maybe I could use that to my advantage. So here you see my opponent plays page, plays treasure hunter, and then plays warrior and flips an estate, flips my hero, and flips a wharf. Now because the ferry token is on the wharf, it means that wharf goes in the bin. So I'm down a wharf, down a workers village, and my hero has been skipped here. And at this point I'm starting to feel like whatever advantage that I had in terms of my page upgrades is gone. So the game is equal at this point, really, I think, in my mind. Because my opponent is able to exchange their warrior into hero here. So they've crossed the bridge in a sense that the hero cannot be trashed by any warrior attacks. So my opponent exchanges a bunch of cards here, pages into treasure hunters, warriors into heroes, save something. That's one good thing my opponent did throughout this game. It seems like they made very good use of the event save there. I couldn't see what they were saving, obviously, but it seemed to be bought quite a bit. So I'm a little bit hesitant to play this treasure hunter and add silvers into my deck, but I end up doing it just because, well, there's +1 money on treasure hunter, so that's not totally insignificant. Play this wharf, draw some wharves. So these are all my wharves, I think. I think I have 4 wharves because I lost 1. So my opponent has 5 wharves. I have 4 wharves. I save a wharf here, and on 4, I think I'll just end up buying a storyteller. So here I could have saved a copper actually, but I think saving the wharf is okay. I'm able to exchange my treasure hunter into a warrior here. I want a hero. In addition to the champion, I can fork out platinums very easily. So here, this is the turn I think that puts my opponent ahead. Workers Village page, Wharf, Storyteller for, what is that, 6 cards? And then Hero comes out. So they get to gain a platinum. So my opponent here now, at this point, I think has the advantage. My opponent is able to play their hero before me, which means they get their champion before me, means it's more likely they put their champion in play before me. So at this point, I think I'm behind, but we'll see how the game turns out here. I'm not out of it yet, I think, but I do think I'm behind after this turn here. So again, you see my opponent making use of saving something, I'm not sure what. On my turn here, I have to play the hero, I can't play the wharf. I want the champion, obviously, and the only way to do that is to play hero. So I'm gonna get my cards from wharf and play hero. Gain a platinum, there's no point to gain in relic at this point. I doubt it'll do anything, it'll just be silver. An expensive silver rather. So here again I'm just trying to think about what to do, what I want, what should I save something. I also know that I don't have enough draw, especially after losing that wharf. I don't have enough draw in the deck. So I'm probably looking at console room here. I think this is the turn where I do buy a console room. Especially now that I know, well, in the next shuffle there will be a champion. So there's a chance that I'll get to play this console room freely. Instead, no, this is not the turn I buy the console room. This is the turn I buy the village and I buy a storyteller. I get a little bit scared here that I wouldn't see my champion until the very end, and I wanted the plus actions because I had just so many terminals in my deck at this point. Here my opponent has a bit of a weak turn, which is, you know, good for me. I was happy to see this. I thought maybe I had a chance, an opportunity to catch up at this point here. So there I come up with $7, save something, and buy a couple storytellers. Both of our fairy tokens are now on the storyteller. So that pile is looking thin here. Here, on my turn, I'm going to spend as much money as I could on this storyteller. I want to find that champion, is the reason why. So I do find it. So I'm able to kick off here with a couple wolves. Don't want to spend this platinum to the storyteller. Instead, I spend just 3 coppers, play my warrior. It turns up nothing, just a copper, so that helps my opponent actually. Can play this wharf and this workers village just for the plus buy, and I'm done here. I mentioned this in a previous game, the superfluous storyteller. There's one left in my hand here. I didn't need it to draw, so I'm not sure if I'm doing things right with storyteller or not. Anyway, come up with 11 coins here, which is not a lot, really. And it's for me now to decide what it is I want to do. I think now I'll buy the console room, honestly, because I need that draw. I need that draw. Hero, I have a hero, or I will have a hero soon, and that'll be gaining me platinum. I can buy a page and go back through the line, and that'll give me silvers, and it'll get me to another hero. So I do want the draw, I think. Here I'm going to save the wharf. I didn't want to play that wharf because then my wharves would be off. I would have, what, 4 in play at once and then none the next turn. So I didn't want that to happen. So I save the wharf, and on 10 here, what do I go for? Now I'm thinking about governor. I do buy a governor, and I think I buy a console room at this point. Other options are storyteller and page. Maybe that was better. Not sure. It's very difficult for me to say what was the correct thing for me to do here. Anyways, I get my hero now, so that'll be a platinum a turn very easily. And at this point, I speed up the turns because they get very long, and well, it's just about drawing the deck here. My opponent gets the champion in play after another big storyteller, just like I did. Plays wolves, gets warrior draw, some more draw from their storyteller, using a lot of treasures, and comes up with $15. So yes, I'm behind at this point. My opponent has more money than me. They have more heroes than me, I believe, or will have more heroes than me, which means they get more platinum a turn. They also have more draw than me. So the only option for me now is to end this game as soon as possible with minimal points lead. My opponent here on their turn shifts their token over to their fairy token over to governor, buys a platinum, and exchanges some of the page cards there. Here on my turn, I spend just 3 coppers for the storyteller. I'm trying to optimize the use of the storyteller here, obviously. So here I see my governor again. I spend how much? Just 2 cards here because I know there's a console room left. Don't want to play it just for a plus buy. That's kind of weak. Here I gain a gold and a platinum. Have a leftover storyteller, which I think I'll save. So here, obviously I'll save the storyteller, and I thought about somehow contriving an end to the game here, but it seemed like I would just need way too much money to end the game. Four storytellers cost 12. If I then move my ferry token over to governor pile, then that's also what, $15 at this point. I just don't have the buys or the money to do that here. So instead I go for a colony and I buy a couple governors. Here the governors might not have been the best thing for me to buy, given that I was trying to end the game. Maybe moving the ferry token somewhere or just buying platinum was better. I'm not sure. Instead I end up buying a silver because, well, storyteller can use it for draw, if not there's money to spend. So buy my colony, couple governors and a silver, and I pass it over to my opponent. He uses hero to gain platinum, gets some big draw out of a storyteller, finds a wharf, plays the wharf, another platinum from the hero, and has $28 to spend, sends 7 buys, goes for double colony and a couple governors, which is excellent to spend all the money that you have. So here, this is my longest turn of the game. I'm trying to think about how to end the game. I'm trying to think about how much capacity my opponent has. Meaning, what can they do? Can they get 5 colonies? Can they get 4 colonies? What is my best option at this point here? I think my best option was to try to end the game. Unfortunately, I was first player, so I would need colony, estate, plus the piles in order to win. A tie would just mean I lose on turns rather than on points. The reason I bought the governors last turn is because I was hoping to maybe remodel some things, and that would help me with emptying the piles. So here I pay someone to the storyteller, get a wharf down, get the council room down, and now more thinking here. Should I play storyteller? Should I play governor? I'm gonna play storyteller for the 3 coppers. I draw with this governor here, which is in conflict with my plan from before, obviously. And really, it was probably just a losing play. I wanted to get more money, which is why I drew, but really I should have been looking for ways to end the game at that point. I didn't then. I was just trying to get as much money as possible. So here I spent quite a bit of time thinking about what to do. I have these, again, superfluous storytellers here. I considered remodeling platinum into colony and then buying some colonies, but that would probably lose. My opponent has so many governors and so many platinum. They can probably get 3 or 4 colonies. I felt like it was unsafe to take colony at this point. I thought my opponent could get 4 colonies easily. With the amount of platinum, that's literally 4 governor remodels away from the end of the game. Now this part is sped up. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I mention it now anyways. So what I end up doing here is something fairly weak, I think. I just gain a gold with the governor and draw it with the storyteller. And then I do something like by province, 1 province, 1 colony. Obviously saving a storyteller, and I can't remember exactly what I did here, but it wasn't anything convincing. I save my storyteller. I think I buy 1 colony. Like, I have to hope he stalls here, right? And by stall I mean have a turn where he only has 28 coins like that one previously. So I buy colony and province and a second province. And on 3, I can move the ferry token, I can buy a page, page doesn't really help me, I can buy a silver, that is of some help, and it's something that I think I buy. Do I buy? Yeah, I buy the silver. And I end my turn. I want to keep that hero around because it's important. And now is my opponent's final turn. So Worf comes out. Worf comes out after the storyteller for 4 cards. Hero gain platinum. Hero gains platinum. Hero also puts money on the table. And look at this massive storyteller draw. And seeing that means the end of the game because you get all your governors and platinum together. You can just remodel at will at this point. So that is effectively the end of the game. I didn't click resign because, well, let's see how many points my opponent can get just for fun. I think my opponent overspends a bit here on the storyteller, but I mean, doesn't matter at this point. The most I can do is remodel that into island, but it is nowhere near enough to stop this rampage. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please leave feedback because I felt like there are a lot of decisions in this game and I may have made, probably have made a couple of them wrong. Okay, thank you. Bye.